morning, it's Lone B here, and today I want to talk about Brandy Finds Herself and Whitney Houston Memories. I looked at Access and Mario. I think the guy that plays Slater on Saved by the Bell, he was interviewing Brandy about B7. Um, and it was another show. Moesha Reboot. There were two hosts talking about Moesha Reboot. And let's talk about Brandy finding herself. Okay. Brandy Brandy was struggling with heartbreak according to one of her songs, Saving All My Love. Brandy struggled with heartbreak and her insecurities and a lack of self-love. She was looking for love in others instead of herself in material things. And she said you won't find it there. Brandy says it took her years to realize that um, she had insecurity problems. So pretty much Brandy had low self-esteem. She also has a song called Bipolar on her album, and I like that album too. As y'all can see, I'm very enthusiastic about Brandy. I love Brandy, so she is the role model for our Generation X females, because that's all we looked at was Brandy. But anyway, so when Brandy made this album, she had to look at what she has done compared with where she is going. She uh, she pondered what the project would sound like. She wanted to stay true to R&B and go outside of the box with DJ Camper and LaShawn Daniels. Brandy wanted total what she wanted to tell her life story through song. Brandy is terrified at letting her daughter get fame because she believes fame kills. So the host was asking Brandy, um, how does she feel as a black female watching Whitney Houston? And Brandy said that it was like it was unbelievable, it was magic, it was like watching the unimpossible. And Brandy says that she wished Whitney Houston was known for the good things instead of the bad things. So the host encouraged Brandy to tell a positive story to downplay the negative media assassination of Whitney Houston. Because, when Whitney Houston was here on earth, they trashed her character, her drug use, her husband, her family. It was secrets about her being bisexual. All these things were put out. So Brandy says, um, she had to basically find herself. So the host asked Brandy, when did she know that self-love was what she was seeking? And Brandy stated she needed to face her insecurities. She had to find that true love of self. She says instead of looking in relationships to find it or people don't help, Brandy states no matter what part you focus your attention, you will not find self-love outside of self. It's basically where Brandy's conclusion came through with all this soul searching that she did for this album. Now, the host asked her What was it that made her achieve? And Brandy said that it was always performing. There was a need and a drive to always perform, always do something. And she said that she wanted to be popular amongst her peers. She wanted to be a household name. It was fulfilled by always performing. So this is what Brandy is basically saying, that always wanting to succeed was in her drive. So you got to have a drive to um, want to accomplish the unthinkable and the impossible. Now, Brandy talks about being bullied and how people would say she would not amount to anything. Um, she said also the haters were her motivator. And that's the way that I see when I do my channel. People might say some of the cruelest things, but I don't care because I have a shell. Um, Scorpio is in my 12th house, which means my outer shell is very tough. So anything that you might say to me might go over my head. I might say something back to you, or I might ignore you altogether because I don't answer. I don't answer to people. I answer to God, and that's just it. And Brandy was talking about having that self love, and that self love is when you find yourself, you find God within. So I don't answer to nobody on this channel but God, who works inside of me. So Brandy was bullied. Now, Brandy said that Whitney Houston had a tough time in her life, especially at the end of her life. Because you know, Whitney Houston had an issue with drugs. Her husband, her marriage was falling apart, drug use at an all time high. And when they tell the story about Whitney Houston's drug use, actually, her brother got her on crack cocaine, not Bobby Brown. Actually, she got Bobby Brown on crack cocaine because he tried it with her. So that's a rumor that will be laid to rest. Okay. Brandy says she had to look at what she had done compared to what she was going through and where she had been. And she wanted to take the project, since LaShawn Daniels had passed away, she wanted to do her album the way that he would do it and how he would want things to go. And she tries to remember how LaShawn Daniels would actually produce a product. So Brandy has been working with LaShawn Daniels for many years. So he is a friend and a producer to her. And Brandy says that what she wants her daughter to take away from this is she was able to achieve something, go through all the bad things, and still make it. She says that let me see, because I was writing all over the place. So, Brandy wants a Moesha reboot. They were asking about reboots because you know you have Saved by the Bell reboot. You have um, I forgot the show with oh, a Full House. That's a reboot. So they're asking Moesha, is there going to be a reboot? And she, well, asking Brandy, is there going to be a reboot? And Brandy was shown a past clip of herself, and she vaguely remembered. Brandy not being popular at Hollywood High, she couldn't believe she went to Hollywood High. The host calls Brandy a vocal Bible, and as a instrument, he says, Master P says, give people their flowers while they are alive. So they wanted to give Brandy her flowers and tell her that she was a vocal Bible. The host also asked Brandy what she felt as being asked to play Cinderella, and she said that Whitney Houston called her up and said, "Let's make history." And she said that she was so um, happy that Whitney Houston cared about her to even think about her to do this Cinderella movie. And she said that she was into doing a reboot. And she also talked about being a representative to younger women. And she says she is blessed to be in that position to be a representative to older or younger women. And Brandy wanted the album to be authentic, and she dedicated Baby Mama to her daughter. She working with Chance. Brandy said they didn't get to work together, but they had chemistry in the video shoot. Brandy states her daughter was not raised in the public access, brought up a Brandy doll with baby hairs. Brandy says it's unbelievable. I forgot Brandy had a doll. Um, so Zane basically interviewed Brandy, and she basically missed singing. She missed music, and this project is basically her life in the form of a song or songs. I like the whole album. At first, when I was previewing the album, I was like, no, Brandy, no. Mm-mm, mm-mm. But something said, listen to it again because it was different and it was outside the box. Brandy said she wanted to make something outside of the box, and it indeed was something outside of the box. So um, I went back and listened to all the songs, and they grew on me like I love it. But let's talk about Brandy's album sales. Um, Brandy album sales, she sold 22,000 between 22,000 to 25,000 in streams. And Pure sells 14,000 to 16,000, and she is tracking towards number 10. So that's pretty good. It's okay. It's not in the hundred thousands, but for someone who's been going for 8 years, it's pretty good on her behalf. So tell me what you think about Brandy finding self love. My conclusions to this whole thing is that without self love, there can be no progress. Because if you love everything outside of yourself and you forget who you are and you care, one thing Brandy said is caring about what other people thinks is an illusion. Because not everybody is going to have your best interest, so you should have self love because whatever somebody else has to say about you that you might disagree with, or is some type of criticism, she said that's an illusion. Who cares what somebody else has to say about you? It only counts when you are saying it about yourself. It only counts when you have self-love. Because when you have self-love, you don't care what nobody else has to say. And that's how I am. So When you look at Generation X, I'm a Generation Xer. That's 1978 to 1994 or something like that. And Generation X was taught self love in the beginning, everything. In the atmosphere of the 80s, um, a lot of the elders represented the struggle, and dealing with the struggle, they always said you had to have self love. And that's basically what I was taught from 5 years old. Have love for self. Don't look for anything outside of self. And when you go to God, you go inside self. Because that's where God resides. Well, that's where God resides. So, everything represented the struggle and achieving no matter what was the message in the 80s, because the elders had went through so much in fighting for everything that they had. They fought for it. And the key, the message I got from 5 to now is believe in self, um, do for self, don't depend on anyone else, depend on God, and be creative and believe in self. So that's what Generation X was taught. And Brandy said that that is what Whitney Houston taught her, is to love herself and to be herself. And actually, when Brandy first met Whitney Houston, she actually ran from her, and she was terrified of Whitney Houston. But she finally sat down with her and had a conversation and found out that Whitney Houston was encouraging her and asking her how was everything, how was the fame. And Brandy said that fame, one thing I took away from this, that Brandy said that fame can kill you. So I don't look for fame or anything like that. I just put out information and just see what reactions I get out of people. And just see how life is active towards truth and information. So that's what I got on Brandy. Brandy album, I love it. I love it. I love it. This is the follow up. Brandy pure album sales is 16 to 14,000, and her pure sales is 22,000 to 25,000. So tell me what you think about this Brandy interview and her album sales. Tell me, have y'all listened to the album? What you think about the album? Just um, welcome Brandy back from an 8-year hiatus. Um, just tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, Salon B. Have a great day.